Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Radha Krishna Pranam. Radha Krishna Prakritir Hladini Shakti Rasma.
Radha Krishna Prakritir Hladini Shakti Rasma.
Ekatmana Bhati Bhuvi Pura Deha Bhenam Gatau Tau.
Ekatmana Bhati Bhuvi Pura Deha Bhenam Gatau Tau.
Chaitanyākyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam.
Chaitanyākyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam.
Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam.
Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam.
The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they have separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself.
Radha Krishna Pranaya Brikiti Alladini Shakti Rasma Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Pura Deho Bhedam Gatoto Chaitanyākyam Prakatamadhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavaduti Shuvalitam Nomi Krishna Sarupam. So, another feature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described here by the author, Kaviraj Goswami. In the beginning, he has been described as the ultimate absolute truth, Saraisajya Purna Ja Bhagavan. The absolute truth realized in three phases. The ultimate phase is Bhagavan, Saraisajya Purna. Bhagavan means full of six opulences. Not as nowadays there are so many Bhagavans. They have no Aishadya. But Bhagavan means Saraisajya Purna, full opulences, six kinds of opulence. Then that Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, has descended as incarnation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just to bestow the topmost understanding of loving affairs with Krishna. Samarpayatum unnata ujjala rasam sabhaktisyam. In the bhakti platform, there are different stages. Spiritually, there is no difference. One in Dasaras and one in Madhurjaras. There is no difference. But a devotee likes to serve the Supreme Lord according to his inclination. Some wants to love him in Shantaras, some wants to love him in Dasaras, some are in friendly, then paternal love, then conjugal love. So, there is no difference between these different phases of loving affair, but great devotees and learned scholars, they have given their decision that the loving affairs with Krishna in the conjugal platform, between husband and wife, or above that, between lover and beloved, that is very much prominent in the Western countries. Friend, boyfriend, girlfriend. In the spiritual world, that platform of remaining as friend without marriage, that is considered as the highest. And whatever we see here, a perverted reflection of that loving affairs. Just like perverted reflection, it is described in the Bhagavad-gītā, ūrdhva-mūlam adho-śākha, aśvatthaṁ prāhur avyayam. This material world has been described as having its root up, ūrdhva-mūlam adho-śākha, and the branches down. We have several times explained this, ūrdhva-mūlam adho-śākha. In the material world, this is a shadow. Unless it is shadow, how the mūlam or the root can be upwards? We have got experience, a tree on the bank of a river. The tree is reflected, adho-śākha, and the root upwards. Shadow. So this is shadow. Real thing is in the spiritual world. Therefore it is called adho-śākha. Śākha in the spiritual world, the topmost part is this conjugal love. And here, the same thing when pervertedly reflected, it is the lowest abominable. We should know this. That in the spiritual world, to remain as girlfriend and boyfriend, that is the topmost pleasure. And in the material world, the same thing is the most abominable thing. Therefore it is adho-śākha. We cannot imitate the loving affairs of Krishna and Radharani unless we understand the real fact. The real fact is described here. The Radha Krishna Pranaya Brigiti Alladini Shakti. Shakti means potency. So, from Vedas we understand that the Lord, the Supreme Person, has got multi-energies. Parasa Shakti vividhaiva shriyate savhaviki jnana balakriyāc natasya kāryam karananca vidyate natasya sama adhikasya drishyate. So, these energies, Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has got multi-energies. When Arjuna requested Krishna, will you kindly explain some of the energies as you display? Then the Bhagavad-gītā, there is a list of his different energies, and at last it is concluded, athava bahunaitina kingatina tavarjuna Vishtyabhya aham idam krishnam ekamshina sthito jagat. Idam krishnam jagat all the material manifestation means these material universes. There are many. This universe, what we see, one only, the sky, the covering. But there are many millions of universes. Jasya prabha prabhavatu jagadanna koti. Koti means millions. Jagadanna. Jagadanna means universe. So Krishna says that all these universes in the material world is display of my 1/4 energy. Just imagine what is Krishna's energy. Ekaṁśena sthito jagat. And we are trying to imitate Krishna. So many rascals, they declare that Bhagavan. They do not know what is Bhagavan. Bhagavan, these universes are coming, innumerable universes are coming from the breathing of Mahavishnu. Jasyaika nishasita kala mathavalamba jivanti loma vilaja jagadannanatha Vishnu mahanasa yajasya kala visesho govinda mahadipuritam tamam. They have no idea what is Bhagavan. This is one of the description of Mahavishnu, that from his breathing innumerable universes are coming out. When he is exhaling, the universes are coming out, and when he is inhaling, everything is going within him. This is Bhagavan. So anyway, this is partial exhibition of the energy of the Lord. And this is 1/4 energy. This material world is manifestation of his 1/4 energy. The 3/4 energies are in the spiritual world. So, in that spiritual world, Krishna exhibits his spiritual energy. That is only spiritual energy. This material world is made of material energy, and we are marginal energy. So, when Krishna wants to enjoy, the enjoy means this loving affairs between man and woman. That is a fact. That is not an artificial thing. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained Vedanta Sutra, Janmadasya Jatha. He has said, Adi Rasasya Janma Jatra. Adi Ras. There are 12 kinds of rasas, mellow. And of all of them, the Adi Ras. Adi Ras means the loving affair between man and woman. This is called Adi Ras. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, Janmadasya means the Adi Ras, the loving affairs between man and woman. That is from the Supreme Person. That's a fact. Unless the loving propensity is there in the Supreme, how it can be reflected? Because this is perverted reflection only. So there must be the origin. So the Mayavadi philosophers, they cannot understand this because they have got bitter experience of this material world. They try to make zero or without any varieties the ultimate goal. Sunnavad, nirvishesha sunnavad. The nirvishesvad, without impersonalism and voidism, they are of the same nature. The Buddhist philosopher, they say ultimately everything is zero. And the Mayavadi philosopher says not zero but impersonal. But actually that is not fair. There is everything, variety and personal, but because the philosophers with poor fund of knowledge, they cannot understand, they make it zero or variety less, nirvishesva. That to clear the idea, our Kaviraj Goswami says that this Radha Krishna prem, loving affairs between Radha Krishna, it is a fact. It is not imagination. It is a fact. But this fact is different from the fact we have got experience in this world. That is to be understood. Don't take, just like Sahajiyas, they take the Radha Krishna prem, just like ordinary lusty affairs in this material world. But that is not the fact. In the Srimad Bhagavatam there is a verse that the loving affairs of gopis and Krishna, Vishnu, it is not ordinary thing. If one can hear from the proper source and if he understands the real fact of Rasa-lila, then the result will be that his heart, which is full with lusty desire, that will vanish. There will be no more lusty desires. Pranaya vrikiti, this pranaya vrikiti, Allah then. So if anyone understands this pranaya vrikiti, the loving affairs, transformation of different feelings, if one can understand, then his material lusty desires will vanish. This is the result. Hridrogo kamam apasya apuhinati dhira. He becomes dhira. Here in this material world, everyone is adhira, agitated by lusty desire. But in the spiritual world, they are dhira. They are not agitated by lusty desires. This is spiritual world. So long we are agitated by the lusty desires, we must know that we are in the material world. That is the test. Just like Jamunacharya says, Jadavadhi mama chitta Krishna padara vindayo nava dhamarantu masi tadavadhi batanari sangame smarjamani bhavati mukha vikara sushtu nishti banancha. So long I have been engaged in the service of Krishna, and I am rendering more and more service and getting spiritual pleasure. Since then, as soon as I think of sex life, I immediately spite upon it and I hate to think of it. This is the result. People should know what is Radha Krishna Prakriti. if one becomes attached to Radha Krishna Pranayamikiti, then the test is that his lusty desires will vanish. This is the test. Therefore, Kaviraj Goswami explains that this is not ordinary thing. This is the transformation of the Alladini Shakti. Sambit Sandhini Alladini. The Supreme Lord has got three potencies or energies primarily. So this Radha Krishna Pranayamikiti is transformation of the pleasure potency. Krishna is described in the Bhagavad-gītā Parabrahma. Parabrahma. Parabrahma, Paramdhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava. That is the explanation given by Arjuna. This is called Parampara system. If we follow Arjuna, Arjuna's decision should be taken. Arjuna's decision is Krishna is Parabrahma. So the Mayavadi philosophers, they are after Brahma Sukha, Brahma Sukhanubhutya. Brahma Sukhanubhutya. The source of Brahma Sukha is Krishna, but they cannot reach up to that point. Ithang Brahma Sukhanubhutya dasangatanang paradaivatena Maya sitanang naradaivatena sadhang vijarhu kritapunna punya. Sri Sukadeva Goswami says, here is the Parabrahma. When he is describing Krishna's pastimes with the cowherd boy. So, Sukadeva Goswami says, these cowherd boys are playing with the Supreme Person who is the source of Brahma Sukha. Ithang Brahma Sukhanubhutya. And for the devotees, there are two kinds of transcendentalists. One Brahmavadi and other Vaishnava. Vaishnava takes this philosophy that we are servant. Jiver Sarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. And the Mayavadi philosophers, they imperfectly think that they have become one with the Supreme. They have become Narayan. That's a misleading philosophy. We should not accept that. This Krishna being Parabrahma, so what will be the platform of his loving affairs? This is to be considered. For Brahma Sukha, we are in this material world, we see many saintly persons, they give up everything. Sannyas. Sannyas means giving up everything for the Supreme. So, for simply to relish a little bit of Brahma Sukha, these saintly person, great saintly person, they are giving up everything. Tattva sadharmam. Sadharma means the regulated division of the society, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So they give up everything. Brahma Sukhanubhutya, to understand tapo dibbam putraka ajena suddheta satta, for purifying the existence, because we are after happiness, every one of us. But we are seeking happiness in the perverted reflection. That is not possible. Therefore, one has to give up this perverted happiness and come to the real path. So, our point is that because Krishna is Parabrahma, so how he can take pleasure in this material world? This is the argument. So those who are wrongly thinking, foolishly thinking, that Krishna enjoys with the gopis like we enjoy in the company of many girls, they are great fools. They have no knowledge. They are misled because it appears, perverted reflection, it appears like that. But the reflection is different from the reality. So, we should not take in that way. We should follow the footsteps of Chaitanya Chaitamrita, that we should understand that this pranaya-vikiti, this transformation of loving affairs between Radha and Krishna, this is not like this, the ordinary boy and girl. It is Alladini Shakti. If we take that, then we are misled. How he can take? Because for understanding Brahma Sup, we are giving up everything. I mean, from the Mayavadi point of view. And again, Krishna being Parabrahma, how he can indulge in material happiness? This is the argument. Brahma Sup, to understand Brahma Sup, to relish Brahma Sup, if one is giving up everything, material, there are three kinds of sukha. Material Sup, Brahma Sup, and spiritual Sup. Brahma Sup is on the margin. Sukha means happiness. Therefore, we, from a logical point of view, we should conclude it that Krishna being Parabrahma, how he can indulge in material happiness. This is a very important point. If for understanding little bit of Brahma Sup, we are giving up all material enjoyment, how Krishna can enjoy materially? He is Parabrahma. Therefore, those sahajiyas, those who are taking that Krishna is enjoying with ordinary girls, they are very, very much misled. That is not the fact. Therefore, it is said, Alladini Shakti. This is different. This is in the spiritual world the topmost mellow, Alladini Shakti. So, Eka Brahma Ditya Nasti. Brahma, Parabrahma is one. Krishna is one. There is no competition with Krishna. Natasya sama adhikascha drishyate. Nobody can be equal with him, nobody can be greater than him. Natasya sama means equal, and adhika means greater. That is Parabrahma. That is Krishna. So Krishna says also, Matta parataram nanyat. There is no more superior entity than me. So we have to very carefully study Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement means to understand Krishna very scientifically. It is not sentiment. One must be very philosophically advanced with scientific knowledge. Jnanam vijnanam. This is vijnan. It is not sentiment. Jnanam vijnana sahitam. Jnanam me paramam guhyam jad vijnana samanitam. Without vijnana, science, without philosophy, to understand Krishna is not possible. You can say that do you think that all the devotees, they are all scientists and philosophers? Yes. The answer is yes. No, they have no degree of science or philosophy. And still, because if you learn science and philosophy, you will have to approach some person who knows the science, knows the philosophy. But the greatest scientist, the greatest philosopher is Krishna. He is within your heart. Ishara sarvabhutanam riteshe arjuna tishtati. And he says, Tesam satatujuktanang bhajatang priti purvakam buddhi yogam dadami aham. Anyone who is sincere devotee and always engaged in Krishna's service, Krishna says, I give him education, intelligence. I make him scientist, philosopher. That is the way. Buddhi yogam dadami. What kind of science? One kind of philosophy. Jena mam upajanti te. That science, that spiritual science, that spiritual philosophy, I teach him personally. Why this is so? Not to all. He may say that Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is sitting in everyone's heart. Why? He is especially inclined. Tesam satatujuktana, one who is engaged 24 hours in his service. Why not others? So that is special mercy for the devotee. Special mercy. Tesame manukampartham aham ajnana jamantama nasayami atmabhavastha. This is the problem. You cannot understand God or Krishna without being a faithful servant. This is the secret. And if we become faithful servant under the guidance of proper spiritual master, then we can understand what is Krishna, what is Parabrahma, and what is loving affairs with Radharani, what is Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These things are revealed. It is not acquired by so-called mundane knowledge. That is not possible. Sameva spuratvam. Just like in the darkness, if you want the sunshine,